Hey, Ticats fans, it's your digital host, Louis B, checking in from the home studios here, and we're back with another segment of Meet the Family, and today I'm very pleased to be joined by Ticats QB Dane Evans. And Dane, it's time to meet the family. Who are we talking to today?
Yeah, hey guys, you're going to be talking to my parents, Damon and Kathy Evans. So they've been up to Canada a bunch. I think some of y'all know them, but we'll get to know them a little better today.
That's awesome. Damon, Kathy, it's very nice to virtually see you. I know we'd all love to be at Tim Hortons Field this time of year, but it's nice to connect. We'll start with you. When did you realize that you had something special in Dane?
You know, early on, it was going to be apparent that if nothing else, he had a pretty strong arm. He could throw a ball, lots of holes in our drywall around our house, and lots of balls over the fence and that kind of thing. He's always had a really strong arm.
And Kathy, was there ever a time where Dane maybe didn't even have a football in his hands? I'm picturing, 2-month-old baby Dane holding a football.
He actually had a football in his crib when he was born. One of the other coaches that coached with his dad had written down, his birthday, how much he weighed, the time, all that. And so that actually stayed right there in his crib with him from the very beginning.
In terms of his football career, Damon, you've been a long-time coach. Like, in terms of when you first started coaching Dane, what's your first memory of coaching him on the sidelines?
Well, I actually, because our seasons always ran together, his youth league and my high school season, they always ran together. While he was young, 4 all the way up to probably 8th grade, I didn't actually get to coach him on the field. Now, I would try my best to make it to all of his games, and I missed very few of them. But, and I just like any other dad, I'd coach him from the stands, and all the coaches that he ever got to play for was real generous and let me, kind of stand on the sideline whenever I was there. So I'd get to, give him some words of encouragement and that kind of stuff. But it wasn't anything more than that. I mean, I stayed out of their hair. I let those coaches coach, and I would just encourage him and the rest of the kids. But then whenever we moved to Sanger, just on the north side of the Dallas Metroplex, that's when I first got to really be his coach. And that was him going into 8th grade. And so I remember those times, and we had always had such a good relationship as far as through baseball and through wrestling and through football, that coaching him, really wasn't that much different than what I would give him when he was in youth league. But I know I did at times was probably a little bit harder on him, just to kind of set the example for the other kids and that kind of thing, to show him that, yes, he was the coach's son, but he was going to be held accountable just as anybody else would.
Dane, for you now, like, I know when I go home, I have much more of an appreciation for what my parents, did and what my parents went through. I think, when you're a kid, you sort of, you don't always see that. Do you feel that now, Dane, you've seen what your parents, put you through, to see where you've gotten, you kind of appreciate it a bit more?
Yeah, way more, especially just something my mom always told me that I've always remembered is that no matter what you're doing, like whatever sport it is, or if you're just out on the town or whatever, that as a quarterback and somebody that holds a position, that little eyes are always watching you. So that's something that she has always told me from 8th grade. Football in a small town, every second grader, every first grader wants to be you, and it's just carried over all the way into professional football. And just for my dad, I mean, me coaching right now, like all the time we put in and everything like that, it makes me really appreciative and really thankful to have a dad and a mom like I have, that were able to make so many things. Because I mean, youth football, we play on Saturdays or whatever, and as a high school coach, that's really not an off day for a high school coach. Like, you have to come in and watch film, and I can't think of hardly any games actually that either one of them missed. So that really, knowing what all they had to do to not be giving up on their job or whatever, or missing time on their job, and being there for me and my sister, that makes me really appreciate them a lot more too.
It was just about 2 years ago you made your first professional start as a member of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Of course, last year, we see Jeremiah goes down and you have a breakout season. What was it like to have your parents along for the ride last season from your first start right up in there to the Grey Cup?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I even remember my first start, like that was a really fun football game. I think everyone at the game had fun. I think everyone that played in it had fun because there's a lot of young guys. Obviously, we had the playoffs hooked up already, but even though we ended up losing, I mean, I so many great memories from my very first start and some like lifelong friendships, honestly, from that game that I'll always have. And then fast forward to last year, they all made both preseason games last year, probably 5 or 6 regular season games, and then every playoff game. So it was cool because as they were coming up, and if they fly into Buffalo or fly into Toronto or whichever airport they flew into, it seemed like every time they would run into somebody that like knew, not necessarily of me, but knew more about the Ticats. This time at the border, the Border Patrol asked if the Ticats are going to win this week. They need to keep it rolling. You know what I mean? So it was cool because like when we're in our like bubble of a team, we're so focused on everything we're focused on. And then when you get like my parents come in from the States or whatever, and they're talking about, more people are talking about the Ticats, it just makes every game is more and more important because now more outside people are like paying attention to it. So that was cool.
Yeah, and then Damon and Kathy, it's not like Texas is, they don't play football in Texas. Football's a big deal in Texas. So for you to come to Hamilton, Ontario and see, 28,000 streaming fans, I go back to that, the East final last year, and I remember the line from you, Dane, was, "That's friggin' sweet." Like just that reaction, blackout at Tim Hortons Field. So for Damon and Kathy, for you guys to see that develop last year's season, what was that like for you?
Oh,
Damon?
It was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, it was freaking sweet, It was, just to see, to go up there and when it all comes down to it, football is football, and football fans are football fans, and it doesn't matter. I've been fortunate enough to coach in 2 different states. I've coached in Oklahoma and Texas, and of course, like you said, Texas football is king. There's nothing else. But you know what? At a school like Jinx, Oklahoma, football is king there too. And to go up to Hamilton and to be there for all the games we get to go for, and especially for the East Final and the playoffs, I'm gonna tell you what, football was king there as well. And it was awesome to see how the fans have embraced the Tiger Cats, and I know they embraced them 150 years before I was ever around. But to embrace the Tiger Cats with my son on that team, man, I'm tell you what, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, Kathy, I mean, just last year, I mean, from where you guys went to the playoff East Final out to Calgary, I mean, just the year and your experience with Canada, which again, like from a family from Texas, I'm not sure how much was aware of Canada, but just your kind of introduction to this country and football in this country from last year.
Yes, actually Canada is beautiful. We love it. And it just works out so well with the CFL schedule, starting with their preseason games like at the end of May, and then we're off in the summer as educators, and Damon's halfway off with being a coach. But that's how we make as many games as we can right then. And then, of course, we weren't going to miss playoffs or the Grey Cup, so we could arrange our schedules to do that. But Canada itself, we love it. We love it. I miss Tim Hortons here. I'm missing it. We need to actually get some Tim Hortons down south here. And just the whole atmosphere, the air. When we're up there, I can remember, I think it was last summer, when the heat wave came through and it was like 90, and the train that we were on was going really slow just because it was 90. And I was thinking, okay, because in Texas, you're happy when it's 90 in summertime. But so some differences, but I really love it.
Well, it's November 10th here in Texas right now, and it's 79 degrees outside on November 10th. So, we beg for 90.
Well, on that note, Kathy, we'll have to make sure we get a care package down to you from our friends at Tim Hortons. Make sure you get some coffee. Dane, Damon, Kathy, thank you guys so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you back up here in Hamilton.
Oh, can't
Us
wait
too.
to be there.
Thanks,
Yep,
Louis.
we're ready.
Appreciate it.